Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendes. Hope everyone is doing well on your Sunday morning as we look back on today's show at yesterday's massive 2-0 win up at Leicester City. Joining me to do just that, first up, top right, is Tom Willen. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, good. It's been a rough few weeks, hasn't it? But I enjoyed that yesterday.
Yeah, a bit of a palate cleanser yesterday, wasn't it? It was a bit of a reset and a big 3 points. Bottom right is Paul Clements. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing absolutely fine. I'm just nursing a bit of a heel injury, bit of ibuprofen gel after all that bouncing at 90 minutes yesterday, but I'll get over it. I'm happy.
Yeah, excellent stuff. And bottom left is Tash Everett. How's it going, Tash?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, I've got a bit of a self-inflicted injury as well. Enjoyed yesterday a little bit too much, perhaps, so hence my voice. But yeah, very good, and doesn't matter if I'm a bit hungover because we won yesterday.
Yeah, I've never heard a hangover described as an injury before, but there we go. Maybe it's a really bad one. Excellent stuff. So on today's show, then we're going to listen back to the goals from yesterday's win up at Leicester City. We are going to hear from the Addicks boss, Nathan Jones, who was on good form yesterday. And we're going to hear from Harry Clarke, who got the assist for the first goal as well. We want to hear from you guys as well. How much did yesterday mean to you? Big 3 points. You can email us studio@charltonlive.co.uk. You can tweet us at Charlton Live, or you can do what Jay's done, says, and go into the chat. And he said, deserved result yesterday. The response we all wanted to see after everything that's gone on from last weekend to now. 6 points clear with a game in hand. It's time to try and keep that momentum going. So yeah, let us know your thoughts. Drop your feelings in the chat on yesterday's win. Big win for the Addicks. Goals from Carey and Dykes. Dykes is first for the club. A missed penalty from Leicester City in the second half. Obviously, we probably ought to mention they were down to 10 men for the vast majority of the game as well. But that wasn't self-inflicted. Well, it was a bit, but also that was because Miles Eburn did some great work and got a player sent off by winning the ball on the halfway line. So unlike the Sheffield United game, we weren't absolutely gifted the 3 points. We actually worked for them and earned them yesterday. So yeah, let us know your thoughts. Tom, before we hear the goals, yesterday was massive for a lot of reasons. I described it as a palate cleanser there. I mean, we needed something after last week. We needed everyone to get back on track. It's been a hectic week off the field as well with all the transfer dealings. I think what everyone needed yesterday was go and get a good away win, a first away win since the Ipswich game, and that's what we got.
Yeah, I said on Thursday's show that we deserve a response from those players. And the other thing I said was we couldn't have had a better game to play, I didn't think. And so it proved, obviously, and we were just saying before we came on air, it was a small sample size in terms of the first 15 minutes. But even 11 versus 11, I thought we looked like we'd started the better. And again, we said on Thursday, if we can start quickly and we can score an early goal, then they'll turn on their fans and they'll be banging trouble. And obviously, it took us a little while to get that first goal, but I thought we were in complete control. I thought the balance of the team looked a lot better than it has in recent weeks. The players were clearly fired up. The players knew they needed to respond and give the fans something because they admit, and you saw Nathan Jones at the end sort of apologising for last week was unacceptable against any team, but particularly against your local rivals. And, Leicester are banging trouble at the moment, and we had to capitalise on that. It's as simple as that. You can't feel sorry for them. You need to go in and you need to punish them. And we did that. And we rode a little spell, didn't we, at the start of the second half, a bit like the Sheffield United game. We didn't kill it off in the way we would have liked, but I thought then we made a couple of changes and saw it out relatively comfortably in the second half as well. But some of the attacking play in that first half, as I say, I know it was against 10 men, but the balls into the box, I thought the Dykes-Leburn combination, I just wasn't expecting that to be as good as it was. I thought Doc was immense in midfield, and the stats sort of bear that out as well. Just an all-round very, very good performance. Yes, against a weaker side, but we had to go there and do that. There's no God-given right to win an away game at this level, and we've done it. And going into 3 home games now, if we can get a few points from those games, I'm not going to say we start to look up the table rather than down, because I think obviously looking at the top 6 is a long way off, but maybe we can start to feel a little bit more comfortable going into the back end of the season. But still a long way to go, of course, for that, but a very solid performance yesterday. And it felt more like a Charlton performance, I thought, a bit more like the start of the season.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Right, let's have a listen back to the goals and the incidents on Charlton TV. Brownie, of course, was alongside Greg Stubley and Terry Smith.
Comes in, headed away by Cody. He's up towards Leeburn, who turns his man. Okoli, who's pulled him back, and that might have. Is there too much distance? Is that a red? Yes, it is a red. Okoli shown the red card. Leeburn turned Okoli and he was in on goal. It was a distance to run. It was a good 40 yards left to run. But Okoli pulled him back, dragged Leeburn to the floor, and the referee has sent him off.
Clarke goes on a run. Lots of Charlton bodies getting in penalties. A good ball towards Carey. Carey with the touch. Carey, can he finish? Yes, he can, is the answer. Sonny Carey. As we've seen so much this season, being the man for Charlton, getting the goal. And in this crucial game, it's Sonny Carey who gives Charlton a lead after 35 minutes.
Yeah, all about the pace and the attack, wasn't it? You know, I said sometimes the movement, you look along on the front line and it's not quite good enough, but that's how you arrive in a penalty area. It's very difficult to defend somebody that's at pace, and when he takes that first touch past the Leicester defence, it falls really nicely for Sonny Carey to thump it past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net, and Charlton lead.
Page down, and there's Doherty again. He's done that a lot this first half. Greg Doherty in his return to the side. Ball down the line's a good one to Leeburn. Leeburn will get there. Held up by Aluko. Cuts inside, finds Chambers. Goes onto his favoured left foot. Whip ball in, looking towards Dykes at the far post. Lyndon Dykes scores! What a wonderful ball in from Chambers. And Lyndon Dykes stretches and gives Charlton a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, I want to go back to Doherty. Picking up the pieces in midfield. Very intelligent ball down the side for Leeburn. And Leeburn's shown a maturity there. He's not tried to chase into the channel and beat the defender. He's flicked it with the outside of his left, waited for support. That support was from Chambers. The delivery is outstanding. Nelson was very tempted into trying to go over the header, but it was just beyond him. And it's an outstanding finish from Dykes to get his boot round that and control it back across the keeper. But everything about that goal was measured. I love the way Doherty got up and won the seconds. Intelligent ball down the line to stretch the Leicester back line. The ball in from Chambers is as good as you'll see, and the cushion finish from Dykes is outrageous. 2-0, and that really does take the pressure off.
Makes a run down the line and can receive it. Up against Bell. Past Amari Bell in the penalty here. Wataru, was he brought down? Yes, he was. Leicester penalty. Wataru showing his quality, beating Amari Bell, who brought him down, and Leicester, who have started the second half strongly, have an opportunity to get back into this game.
Well, he's actually got the better of Bell. On the couple of occasions he's got up against him 1v1, Fatawu. He's done him all ends up with a bit of pace and a bit of trickery, and well, I mean, it is the lightest of touches, but you just can't put your arm. I mean, really is the lightest of grabs, but nevertheless, you know, yeah, there's enough there, unfortunately, just to give the referee.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, there's just enough, isn't there?
Wrong side. It's going to be Ayew to take. Jordan Ayew from the penalty spot. Going to get Leicester a goal back in this game. Ayew, short runner. Steps up and sends Kaminski the wrong way, but it hits the post. And it looked for all the world it was just going to hit the back of the net, but instead it hits the post.
Well, it's a huge let-off, because I have to say, I certainly don't think you would have seen Charlton panic, but it would have raised temperatures in the away end.
Yeah, it certainly would have, but luckily it was a former Palace player taking the penalty, so no harm done. Jordan Ayew hitting the post and missing. Charlton winning 2-0 up at Leicester City. Big win for us, Paul. I mean, we'll go through some of the details of the game and the sending off and who played well in a minute, but I want to jump straight to that bit right at the end, at full time, when the players and the manager came over to the travelling support, who were excellent all game, by the way. They were so noisy for the whole 90 minutes, and yeah, it was like a reconciling moment really there with the manager. He was sort of re-apologising again for last week and sort of, I guess, saying that we've made it up for you with a win today, and that was a big moment, I think, for everyone. Everyone needed that lift that we had there yesterday.
Yeah, we did, as did Nathan, as did the squad. And look, nothing's linear in life, let alone football. You're never gonna always have it easy, and things happen that mean you're going to get bumps in the road. I think the reason why yesterday was so important, though, and why we did have that reconciling moment is because of what we discussed last week and what they will hopefully use as a reminder never to do again this season. And that was the kind of the lack of commitment and fight in the system. So hopefully that will spur them on now to do what they did yesterday, and that is show up and put everything on the line. And we saw, again, I think for the first time in a while, a few occasions where Leicester were probing near that 18-yard box, and the players were really, throwing themselves to the floor to block the ball and stuff. I remember Bell doing it, and Cody and Jones were doing it too. So point being, yeah, you're absolutely right. This was a really important moment in the season, I think. And I think that we also have a squad and a manager who also need to get over sometimes the criticism or negative reaction, because when you're so emotionally attached to what you're doing and you're trying to do your best, sometimes it's difficult to step back and see actually that sort of reaction or the grief is justified. But in the moment, it probably is. And I just think it was really good. He came over, everybody was passionate about it. As you say, Louis, he did put his hands up, he kissed the badge, and he pumped his chest. And that's the sort of feeling we can all take into the next run of games and leave the rest behind us now. So I think it was really good. It was so buzzy to come away from that ground feeling so buzzy was really, really good. It felt very different than that more recent Sheffield United win where you were just kind of scratching your head a little bit from that. So yeah, no, it was really good, and long may it continue now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was a funny start to the game, wasn't it, yesterday, Tash? Because by the time that 10 minutes were on the clock, I think we played about 1 minute of football. We'd had a couple of injury stoppages. The Lino's communication system was all over the place as well. So nothing really had happened by the time that Coley had got himself sent off. So I say got himself sent off. It was Leeburn. It was a ball over the top from Carey, and Leeburn, who was absolutely superb in that first half yesterday, worked his nuts off. He was running, miles and miles, it felt, for the team, and managed to turn a Coley. And I mean, footballers aren't known for their intelligence, but in a split second, when effectively is 5 minutes on the clock, 15 minutes actually on the clock, and you're seeing Miles Leeburn picking up the ball just inside your own half. I mean, really, I think there's an argument to say, don't pull him down and get sent off. See if he can run 50 yards and score. Or it was a bizarre decision by Coley, but that's not to take away from Miles, who, as we said, had a great first half yesterday before he went off and earned that situation. I think was how James Waller described it in his interview with Nathan after, and that was the right way of doing it. He put Coley into that position to make a decision, and happily for us, Coley chose the worst possible option.
Yeah, and it was even more hilarious watching Coley try and complain about it as well. I was like, what are you complaining about? But no, as you said, absolutely brilliant from Leeburn. You're right, because of everything that had happened. When I saw later on Twitter that it had been on the 15th minute, I was like, what? And then, yeah, as you say, I remember that we've had so many delays. And I sort of, when all that was happening, I thought, we've started really brightly here. Let's have it right, by the way. Okay, we were very lucky. We've gone down to 10 men again. But, again, Leeburn's made that happen. But good. Football God shining down on us that Coley's made that mistake. So they're down to 10. And it's very easy, I think, for people from the outside to look at that and go, oh, well, you're only playing against 10 men again that someone can win. But, for me, we were in that game before that happened. Definitely. I'll die on that hill. And I think Leeburn yesterday, in fact, there was a guy that I used to work with that's a Leicester fan, and he messaged me straight after and said, I wish we had Leeburn up top rather than Ayew. And I think that speaks for itself, to be honest with you. He said that his work rate and just everything that he did yesterday really stood out. And I think, I think he went off at halftime with was it his shoulder or something? He took a bit of a knock. And I wasn't surprised by that, because that just shows how much he was in that game yesterday and how much he was battling. And I think before he got dropped, he was really hitting form. It might not have been in the goal returns, but you could see that he was really in games and he was really giving defenders a hard time. And when he was dropped, I thought I didn't agree with it personally, but I think now he's come back and thankfully he's just carried on from where picked up from where he left off. Sorry, so it's very pleasing to see. I think he's had a hard time, Miles, with injuries and everything else going on. So it's very pleasing, and I think, he was a miss for us when he went off yesterday. Obviously, there was nothing we could do about that, and we lucky still came away with the 2-0 win and happy days. But yeah, I'm very pleased for him. I think he deserves to be in the spotlight in that moment because he did us a big favour there.
Yeah, he really did. Right, Tim says, don't think we should underestimate how important changing the ends was. It's a tactic we've seen before and it showed. Yeah, I hate it when teams do that to us at the Valley. Paul says, obviously they had a good reset this week. Safe to say the dressing room has been found. Really needed that. Yeah, I mean, someone said elsewhere in the chat, I don't know if I can find it again, about how, all the talk about has he lost the dressing room. When that gets overblown after defeats, doesn't it? But also, I mean, it gets answered with performances like that yesterday. It's interesting. I mean, we'll talk about Cody coming into the midfield, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. But Nathan speaks about him being a calming influence, and maybe they did need to calm things down a little bit rather than completely refine the dressing room or whatever it was. But yeah, the goals we did score yesterday, Tom, were two of the absolute highest quality. I've watched them back this morning again a couple of times because the first one, like the cross from Clarke, and it's no fluke because he'd put in a really good cross a few minutes before looking for Leeburn that was headed behind. But the second cross, it was a lovely measured ball, but the flick over the top of the defender from Carey is one of those things that was so good. I'm thinking, like, did he definitely mean it? But I've watched it back this morning. I'm relatively confident he meant that because he was definitely not trying to shoot with the first touch. He was definitely controlling it. So, and he's just lifted it over the defender, and the finish was brilliant as well. But yeah, the quality of that goal and the timing of it important as well, because I mean, it was only sort of 10, 15 minutes before half time. If we go in at 0-0 against 10 men, there's probably a bit of nerves, but to break the deadlock in that manner with that level of quality was so pleasing.
Yeah, the formation relies on wing backs, doesn't it? That's what Jones sets us up to do. And we were saying it on Thursday's show about that lack of balance, really. And when we were talking about Apter leaving and TC having to play left wing back and Edwards' injury and all that stuff. But even Bell fits into that. I know he's not the wing back himself, but him coming in allows more comfort for those players to go forward. I thought both Clarke and Chambers were sensational yesterday. And yeah, I did the same as you. I watched the goal back a few times this morning because I wasn't sure either. In my head, he'd sort of bundled through the players and then got his touch in. But actually, no, it's much more sophisticated than that. It's a really good bit of play. So yeah, I'm with you. I think he meant it. And what pleased me most about it was he was doing what Carey was doing at the start of the season, getting into the box, making those late runs. And then, yeah, it needs a good cross to find him, and it does. So, yeah, absolutely delighted for him to get back on the score sheet again, and for Clarke obviously coming in and setting that one up. And then, as you say, that second goal, the cross for the second one was unreal. Like, you were obviously sat behind it from one end, and where I was at the opposite end, if you like. So to see the curve on it and everything, like it was, and Dykes still had a lot to do, by the way. So I don't want to discredit the finish either, because that was brilliant. But as you say, two just brilliant goals, and they didn't come obviously back to back. There was a bit of a gap in between, and obviously all the added time helped us there. But it just killed the game off. Those two moments of brilliance just killed the game off. And as I said a bit earlier, they had some chances in the second half for a little bit, but we kept them fairly limited. But yeah, look, Dykes getting off the score sheet. I haven't been critical of Dykes to this point, but I found it strange that he's just gone in and taken Kelman's place without really justifying it. But yesterday did. And to be fair to him, he's worked hard the last few games. And things just haven't fallen his way. Obviously, the goal at Millwall was unfortunate in terms of that being chalked off, but thoroughly deserved yesterday. And I was wary about him and Leeburn starting up front together again, large sort of thing. But I thought it worked brilliantly. So fair play to Jones for that. I'll hold my hands up and say he got that spot on. Yeah, and as I say, two good goals. It's not very often we score two, is it? So yeah, it was really, really pleasing.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. I mean, when the team came out, I mean, group chats all over the country were like going, really? Like Leeburn and Dykes again? It didn't work at all against Derby. People were nervous about that. You know, the Cody in the central defensive midfield role, I think it would have taken a lot of people by surprise because in our mind, for however many years, he's an England defender. He's a defender. So, but he has played there in his career. It's not unheard of, but it did feel like, well, blimey, that's gonna be seen as a bit of a risk because it's not something that a lot of people know that he does. So yeah, there's some bold team selections certainly, but yeah, it did feel like it paid off. As Tom said, I mean that second goal, Paul, was just one of my absolute favourites of the season so far, and it started with Doherty in the midfield, who, you know, I think it's fair to say a lot of us were expecting maybe some changes in the midfield, and I wasn't sad to see Doherty coming back in at all. But his hard work to win the ball back, send it into the channel, and Leeburn held it up well. And you know, sometimes people discredit hold up play like that a little bit, but it's not just about keeping the. Sometimes you have to really think about, what am I doing? Who am I bringing into play here? Am I just going to charge like a mad hatter towards the penalty areas? But it was really sensible play, and he rolled it back to Chambers. And as Tom said, so the press box, we were right behind. I could see the pass on straight away, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's going to take something special to actually pick that ball out. And my word, was that cross from Chambers was so special. And even then, again, as Tom mentioned, it's not an easy finish for Dykes at all. On the stretch, sometimes the temptation on a volley is just lever it as hard as you can, but he measured it perfectly back across the keeper, and it was the placement that made sure it went into the back of the net. It was such a high quality goal. You know, for a team that at times recently, or at times throughout the whole season, we've been saying, you know, that there's endeavour there, but where's the quality? When we saw two really big showings of that yesterday, and that second goal, like I say, one of my absolute favourites so far this season.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, and I hope, look, if that is the best cross we see this season, so be it. It deserves probably to be. But if he can do that again a couple more times, absolutely brilliant, because it's going to put stuff on a plate for our forwards. And that's what we've been lacking. And it is so good to see. And as Tom mentioned earlier, that's the sort of balance we wanted. And that's the sort of service that Nathan, no doubt, has been wanting and crying out for, but just hasn't had the personnel this season to really affect that. And Bree did for a period of time. I mean, let's not forget when he first came in, he threw in some decent crosses too. I remember his first few games, we were kind of salivating a bit, and then his form and a little injury, unfortunately, had that drop off. But yesterday, it was more about the balance on both sides and that ability to have two players that could ping quality into the box. And I think, I mean, Carey's goal was just sublime. The cross was good, but it was his skill and then that confidence to score the goal. The second one, it was all about that cross and its precision to the back post. And yes, Dykes did have to stretch a bit, and he scored with a really measured shot. But this guy's an international player, and if you look at his highlight reels, this is the sort of stuff that he does. It was all about that cross, and it was sublime, and it is a typical, you know, I know he's left now, but you know, that was a typical Trent Alexander type moment. That's a proper Liverpool kind of trained cross that we saw, and I hope we see more of it. But that wasn't all about his game. His tenacity in defence, his absolute determination to nick the ball off players for a throw-in or give away a throw-in rather than risk that player going beyond him. I thought for a really young lad, he showed such positive signs, and I hope he can maintain that sort of play and consistency for the rest of the season, because that really will do us proud, having lost Edwards for the rest of the season. So yeah, stuff to really enjoy in the moment, but to be hopeful on for the rest of the season, I think, down those sides.
Yeah, Dean said, and I think this is fair, Leicester are a club in disarray. They will not win a game for the rest of the season. I mean, it stunk there yesterday. There was something in the air. I mean, their fans hate their football team. They hate them. I can't remember ever seeing a player getting booed coming on like Harry Winks did. I was chatting with one of the local journalists, sort of telling me some of the stories and about how he fell out and wasn't playing and with managers and whatnot. Jordan Ayew, my guess is they're booing him because he used to play for Palace, but in reality, I think it's because it sounds like they don't rate him. They don't think he puts a shift in for him, and then obviously he misses the penalty. But despite all of that, they do have those individual players that we know can hurt you. For Tawi, we know, I mean, we've seen it with our own eyes earlier on in the season what they can do. They've got individual quality, but they're not a team. But they did come out at the start of that second half, Tash, and we did have to ride it for 15 minutes or so. The penalty was, I think it was a penalty. Nathan Jones doesn't. I think it's a minor one. Fatawi's got beyond Bell, and Bell's basically had a little tug on his arm, and Fatawi's done the thing that sometimes we wish our players would do more, which is actually make sure that the referee knows there's been some contact and he goes down. So I thought it was a penalty, but Jordan Ayew obviously disagreed and very sportingly played it off the post and out for a throw-in, to much to the disappointment of the home fans, Tash. But that 15 minutes, I mean, we had to show a bit of character to come through that. But then Nathan makes a few switches. He goes to the back four. You made the triple sub. All of that, and then after that, I felt really comfortable. That last half an hour, once we made that triple sub, switched the shape, it felt like it was just a procession to full time really from there. Maybe we could have done a bit more down the other end, but at 2-0, again, I was quite happy just to see nothing happen for half an hour.
Yeah, I think the RU penalty, I think it was a penalty, by the way. I didn't have too many complaints about it, but I think that was coming because the amount of pressure that Fatawi was putting on our defenders in the box. Like, I was just thinking at some point he's going to have some joy, whether that's getting a really good crossing that it's impossible for whoever's in the box to miss it, or he's going to force a pen like he did, so fair play. He's an amazing player, as we saw at the home game. But Jordan, are you missing that penalty? For me, I was like, this is going to be our day now, like, for sure. If we weren't sure now before that, I was like, we're going to be all right. And to be honest, because of the disallowed goal in the first half, I thought, well, you don't deserve that penalty anyway, because we should be 3-0 up. So it's all balanced out in the end anyway. But no, I mean, I won't lie. Did I feel uncomfortable in the start of that second half? Yes, I did. But I think a lot of that comes down to the fitness of players. And I think you've got a lot of people in there that, Clarke and Chambers did absolutely brilliantly yesterday. But I think I didn't think they looked overly tired, but I just think we weren't as at it as in the first half. And as you said, that might just be a case of, I'm not being funny, we're 2-0 up away from home against 10 men. All you need to do is keep that clean sheet and consolidate. And that means probably not being as front-footed. And in that way, unfortunately, that meant that we had to soak up a bit of pressure. But we did the job, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. But yeah, let's have it right while they are in absolute chaos at the moment. Obviously, I was saying before we came on air, like, they've got a points deduction potentially looming over their head, and that subconsciously, or whether they mean to, that's going to feed into the players. That's going to be them thinking, well, I can try all I like, but we've got this coming over the hill. You could feel that in the stadium. Like, there was a point yesterday where the Charlton fans were singing like Leicester gives a song. It was actually just quite sad because it was just dead quiet in response, and I just thought, actually, a bit sorry for you. But yeah, it's not a good atmosphere at the moment, but we did what we had to do yesterday. It was a classic away performance. You go ahead, you put all the pressure on them. We went at them straight away. It wasn't classic Charlton we've seen recently where it's like you'd sit back and you wait till the 70th minute to click into gear. Like, we were up and at them straight away. And once we had that 2-goal cushion, would I have liked to send a third goal? Yes, that would have been lovely. And for a minute, I thought Matty Godden's unbelievable finish, by the way. I thought that counted.
I have no idea. I somehow missed this. Like, obviously, I knew it happened, but I was looking at my laptop writing something, and I've still not seen a replay. So I have no idea if this was a 25-yard screamer in the top corner, or if he tapped it wasn't quite that.
It was very nice finish. But yeah, and I'd have liked to have seen that third goal happen just to have a bit more fun in the away end. But we all had a lovely afternoon. We all had a great time, and honestly, even from, I thought after the Millwall game that we were going to be a bit tetchy, like, fan-wise, and understandably so, but everyone was in a great mood from the off, and I think that, I'm not saying that meant we won the game, but it definitely does help. So yeah, it was fine. Apart from that patch in the second half yesterday and the penalty and all that, I think once we made those changes, it was great. And yeah, credit to Jones again for doing that and making those changes. So, and I thought actually Fevrier when he came on and Campbell when they came on, good job. That's what you needed to have them go at Leicester and, have some fresh legs. So yeah, very good game management, I think, from Jones. It was nice to have Lyndon Dykes get a reception from the away end, everything like that. So yeah, it was fine in the end, basically. Yeah,
lots of good stuff yesterday. Right, we're going to hear from Nathan Jones now. We've still got quite a few bits of yesterday's game to talk about. We've not really spoke about Cody yet. We definitely haven't spoke about the greatest injustice in football history, which happened in the first half as well. But let's hear from the Addicts boss, because I think yesterday was a massive, massive day for everyone, particularly for him as well, as you could see by his emotions at full time. So this is what Nathan Jones had to say when I caught up with him after the game. Nathan, congratulations. That's a really big win for a lot of reasons today.
Yeah, massive win. The result was everything today, but I thought we started the game really well. We wanted to be front-footed. We went 2 up top. We wanted to be ultra-aggressive against them, and that ultimately changed the game. Miles was clean in, got pulled back, definite red. If he didn't do it, then Miles is 1-on-1 with the keeper, so you hope he would score. But look, that kind of changed the kind of complexion of the game. But look, I'm really pleased because our game plan, we wanted to be ultra aggressive against them, wanted to go up against them and put it on them. At home, we didn't come here and sit back and try and contain them. We went after it, and that's what won us the game.
There's 2 goals of the highest quality as well. The finish from Carey today was brilliant.
3 goals of the highest quality.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea why the corner was disallowed. His own player blocked him. He absolutely guessed on the thing, and you can't do that because it's lives at stake, and you can't get any guessed because there's no foul there. I mean, categorically no foul there, no one around the keeper or anything. So three goals of the highest quality today.
Yeah, and a great finish from Carey. Has been your leading marksman so far this season.
Yeah, and wonderful. Look, there's a lot of development to come from him because defensively he's got to be better, but he's an attacking midfield player, so he gets in those situations, gets opportunities, and then he's been excellent for us.
And even the build-up before Chambers' cross was good, but the delivery from Chambers and the finish from Dykes were both of the highest quality.
We've missed that. We've really missed that. With the natural balance on that side, we've missed it. We've normally have TC that would come inside, or we've normally had someone there that doesn't do that. We've compromised in that position, so it's nice to have balance on that side.
How big has this win been for you personally after this week?
I mean, huge. Look, last week was damning for the football club, or damning is the right word, but really hurtful for the football club because of because of who we played, 2 because of the manner of it, and then 3 because we all care. And look, I'm immersed in this football club, so it hurts me. I know fans would, but it hurts me because I live, I breathe, the hours I do, and I care about this football club. I love being here, so it hurt me as well. So I wanted to have a reaction. Fans were absolutely fantastic today. We are going to have tough days at this football club this year because of the monster of the league we're in and where we've come from. Because in 2 years ago, it's almost my anniversary here. 2 years, we were 19th in League One. These are a massive football club, Premier League quality and everything. So to be competing on this level and stuff, we know we're going to have some tough days, but we have to bounce back. We can't have too many of them, and that's a massive win.
You had to ride a bit of a storm at the start of the second half, but in the end it saw it out quite comfortably, it felt.
Well, I think we needed to change. We changed, and I thought tactically we were really good. Once we went to a 4, we penned in. They had a lot of bodies deeper so they could build. We couldn't get to them. We had 5v3 on our back line. So I wanted to change. So I changed to a 4 so we could get bodies up tight, and then I think we took control of the game and saw the game out really, really well. Look, would I've liked to score a third week on the counter-attack? We did, but these were good players. Even with 10 men, they can keep the football. We saw with Sheffield United, they're dangerous, because they have individuals that 1v1 can go past you. They can go past 2-3 players, do something special on that's the type of team. So we had to defend our box really, really well, and we did. Thomas didn't have to make any saves really, which meant that we defended our box very, very well, and another clean sheet.
And Cody's come in and played in the defensive midfield role. What did you make of his debut?
Look, I just thought he added a bit of calmness. Just around the place this week, he's just been a bit of a calmness. We felt that was my job as well, but it's nice to have a couple of generals in the changing room as well, because there was a lot of noise this week, and people saying about different players and different this and different that. This football club is bigger than any players, bigger than any managers, bigger than anything. So we just had to calm it down and go, look, we know what type of team we are, we know where we are, and we need to get some points quickly, and we've got 3 relatively quickly after the tough week.
And I just asked about Miles Leeburn. I think he's spotted in a sling when he's come off at the end of the game.
He's just gone over his shoulder, so it's so we'll have to just see. We'll scan it, we'll see, and we'll see where we are. But yeah, look, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was a real handful first half, caused them real problems, and I said I'm disappointed we weren't further ahead, because we scored a wonderful goal. Things we work on, and to have it just chalked out for absolutely nothing. Then they get a penalty, so we can't. But it's not a penalty. I mean, if you look at it, it's things. So 2 big decisions. I felt went against us. In terms of that, and that could have changed the complexion of the game. So, from kind of letting them off, because I couldn't understand why he disallowed it, and then giving them a penalty when it wasn't, that could have changed the complexion of the game entirely.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders, such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello fellow addicts, I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the river. See you soon.
Right, welcome back to Charlton Live on your Sunday morning. We're looking back at yesterday's 2-0 win up at Leicester City. We just heard from the Addicts boss, Nathan Jones, who never one to hyperbolise, says that lives were at stake because of that goal that was chalked off, which a lot of people found quite amusing. Although Alex then says, I don't know why people are laughing. There's lives at stake here. But yeah, an impassioned interview, as always, from the Addicts manager yesterday. Tom, he's someone said in the chat, you know, when we win, he does sound a lot happier, and I feel like yesterday was a massive weight off his shoulders. I think the last week must have been quite torrid for him and for us and for everyone at the club. You know, we're all on the same team, aren't we? And there's been a lot of stuff said this week, I think, and we need, like I say, we needed that sort of reconciliatory afternoon that we had yesterday. I mean, that I can't stop thinking about that bit at the end there with the away fans, because they were so noisy all day, which, you know, fans play their part and always do. But it was a really positive away end yesterday, which helps everyone. You know, we were right to be very disappointed last week, but everyone is like, it's a new game, it's a clean slate, let's start again, and that's what it felt like for everyone, including the boss yesterday.
Yeah, it goes back to your palate cleanser, doesn't it, at the start? And yeah, if I'd known lives were at stake, I'd understand why they played so well. It makes a lot more sense now. It's a shame lives weren't at stake at the Millwall game, and maybe they'd have performed a bit better. But look, I'd say the same thing, I think, every week after the Nathan Jones's interviews. He lives and breathes this club whilst he's our manager. And, you know, I believe him when he says it hurts him and it hurts his family as much as it hurts us as fans. You know, he's completely absorbed by this football club, and he is giving everything he has got to make this football club better. And he doesn't always get it right. And when he doesn't, we're critical of him. And we were critical of him last week, rightly so, I think, because team selection was wrong and setup was wrong and everything. And he admitted little bits of that himself. So, yeah, when he comes out and apologises and holds his hands up, you know, would you rather have a manager that gets things wrong but apologises when he makes the mistakes and cares about the football club? Or would you rather have a manager who stands there on the touchline with his hands in his pockets and doesn't move and doesn't fight back? And, you know, we've had that very, very recently. So I would much rather have this. It makes it difficult when we lose. It makes it difficult when we disagree with him. But at least that passion is there, and that passion is mutual, and the love is mutual as well. You know, he loves us and we love him, and I'm sure he hates us at times and we hate him as well. So, you know, you have to go with those ebbs and flows. I think he said it, was it in the one with the club yesterday, where he was like, you know, it's like any marriage. You have your falling out and you go down the pub and then you come back and you make up. And well, this was them making up, right? This was them making up for that performance last week by putting in a decent performance. And this is the level. This is the level. And we said it when we were in the early part of the season and we were playing well. And we said, yeah, this is great, but we have to maintain this. And you see it, even little things like the Derby game. We had 10 or 15 minutes where we were pressing Derby properly, and then we were in that game. And then as soon as that drops off, we're not good enough that we can afford to drop off. And yesterday we didn't. We rode a bit of a storm, and then we were intense, we were pressing, we were working hard for each other. And that is a Nathan Jones team, and that's what we need to continue to do every week. So, yeah, look, I've made no secret of the fact that I absolutely adore the bloke, and I want him here for a long time. So I was delighted for him yesterday. I was critical last week, and as I say, most people were, and rightly so. But calling for him to go was not the right move for me, and still isn't, and won't be if we go on and lose next week. But yeah, just absolutely delighted for him. And yeah, I just couldn't be happier. It was such a good performance yesterday to get back up and running.
Yeah, I noticed Shrewsbury have decided they don't want a manager with the hands in his pocket either. Actually, they've worked that one out after a little while. Right, HRH says must say that Nathan took the disallowed goal much better in the interview. afterwards than Louis did at the time. So I have to put my hands up here. I sort of forgot where I was a little bit when I was watching the replay of the disallowed goal. So the corner from Carey, who put in some nice deliveries actually yesterday from the set pieces, and Clarke's flicked it on into the back of the net. And then you see the referee blows his whistle, and sometimes when there's a bit of a melee, you think, well, he's obviously spotted something. But it's one of those, because Leicester have been in the Premier League recently, they had all these big screens in the press box, so we were able to watch it back. And whilst I was watching it back in live time, basically, I was sat literally in the seat next to Steve Brown. You could probably hear me sort of bleeding into the microphone a little bit when we scored. I'm doing my commentary for Radio London. But just to tell you why I was in the position, basically, the Radio London show starts at 2 o'clock if they're not doing an early commentary. So I wasn't actually on live. So I was just there with my headset on, just recording the goal commentary in case anything happens. But when nothing's happening, then no one's listening, so I can say what I want, sort of thing. And so I was trying to speak to Ollie Groom at the far end of the press box, whilst forgetting there was 3 blokes all wearing microphones in between the two of us. Glove Pup has very kindly found the audio for us, so I'm going to try and play it now. Hopefully you're going to be able to hear this. I don't think you can hear the swear word, but let's have a listen.
I think he's pushing up against the 25.
Yeah, he's his own man. 25, there's nothing wrong with that. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's harsh.
I don't know if you can hear Louis Mendes, but he's having a little bit of a hissy fit to my right.
To my right-hand side, Charlton.
So I knew something had gone wrong all of a sudden when I started getting all these messages from everyone sat at home. I was like, oh dear, hopefully they didn't hear that. So my sincere apology to everyone, apart from the referee, because that was not a foul at all. Right, Paul, Connor Cody into the defensive midfield. So again, big talking point. Richard actually mentioned to me during the week that he believes that Connor Cody's coming in to play midfield. Obviously Richard's, when he heard that, he's not going to go out spreading that before the game, because that you don't give away team news. So I wasn't shocked, but I was a little bit like, well, this is a gamble, because we don't know him as that. We know him as a defender, but obviously Nathan knows his career better than we do, and knows that he did play there for, it sounds like Wolves. I think he played a fair bit there. Calming influence. A lot of people have spoken about how much talking he was doing on the pitch. It was quite funny, his agreement with the referee when Coley was getting sent off, which was quite funny to see. It's ironic, really, that the Leicester fans have said, oh, he's just a podcaster these days, and he comes into the pitch, communicates so well that we turn into a really good team again.
Yeah, he was a pleasure to see, and he has played that 6 in his career. And the thing that was concerning, I think, quite a few Charlton fans when we made the signing was hearing on other clubs, Wrexham, Leicester fans, and indeed other Championship podcasts talking about his legs and whether or not they'd gone. Well, you can kind of deal with that in 2 ways. You either play a very deep line and play that sort of play as a sweeper, so there's not much room between the goal and the sweeper, or you can play the CDM right in front of a defence and have them ensure the team is ticking, whilst having the defensive quality to rob the ball off of attackers from time to time and stuff. And that's exactly what he's done. He's decided to play him in the 6 role, bring him in and play him in the 6. And it just worked yesterday. It won't necessarily work every week, but that what we did see, and my lad and I were talking about this in the kind of the first phase of the game. It was about his communication skills, and he had no qualms, having a word with Lloyd Jones if he didn't feed the ball to him or to Doc, etc. He was leveraging his vast experience, the fact that he's played international football, not a single cap. I think it was 10 or 12, or however many he got, but he's clearly played at a level where he's got the confidence to kind of be out there, see the game for what it is, probably reading it much better than a lot of our players at the level they've played at for a long time. And he made us better for it. I think whilst he was on the pitch, he was really. It just felt we were just more in control, which is what we've been crying out for. And it's such a departure. With no disrespect for him, and I said this before, I don't like digging out particular players, but if you think about the endeavour that Anderson had in previous games, but without that product, and certainly no commanding communication skills compared to what Cody had, regardless of what his legs can do versus Anderson, it's chalk and cheese. And so we need to leverage that, and hopefully that's not the last kind of signing at that sort of level before the transfer window's out either. Because I still think if he did pick up a knock, who do you turn to? So we've just got to hopefully believe that the board are going to back Nathan 1 more or 2 more times or twice to ensure that we've got enough quality and the sort of standards you need at this level to compete and pick up the wins we need to survive this season.
Yeah. Dean said he was a leader when he came on the pitch. That's why he came in. Mark said he's a clever player. Dropped into the centre half a few times to push the fullbacks on and Bell on a few times. Really clever play to get the ball players more involved. And again, I mean that's a tactical thing as well. Nathan would have seen that coming. Spam says his traits suit our playing style perfectly. And Mr. Doot said Cody is a leader, and that showed through. Let's not get carried away, though. It's one game against a really poor Leicester side and much tougher tests to come. Yeah, and I think that's fair. It is one game. There's a Leicester fan telling us in the chat. It says, yeah, congrats on the win. We're a shambles at the moment. We have the most unlikable team we've ever had as fans. We've all accepted that we are highly likely to get relegated. They want King Power out. So, yeah, obviously we spoke about it on Thursday, Tash. They've got this points deduction is still hovering over them. Again, I'm not going to say it's going to be this week because I feel like I've heard that rumour for a few weeks now that it's going to happen very soon. But so if it is as high as 9, so they're currently... What are they? They are currently 9 points above the relegation zone. So if it's as high as 9, they will go to just above it on goal difference. If it's down to 7, I mean, they are right in the mix. And judging by how they played yesterday, they are in big trouble. West Brom, I think, are in big trouble. You saw the fan reaction from their defeat at Portsmouth. Portsmouth have picked up 3 wins in the last 6 by the looks of it. Blackburn, I think, look bad at the moment, which makes our result there a little bit more annoying. Oxford obviously had the win at Leicester now, but I'm decided to discount that because it turns out that Leicester are rubbish. But I mean, Leicester are right in it. Oxford are in it. Blackburn are in it. West Brom are in it. Norwich you'd expect to get out of it. Portsmouth maybe. Us hopefully. I'm hoping that in 10 games' time, the relegation battle will be a thing of the past and we don't have to worry about it. But obviously we have to get enough points to do that. But there's certainly more teams in the mix, and Leicester are right in there.
100%. I think maybe like a month or 2 ago, I can't quite remember when West Brom and Leicester in particular started dropping off, but I think people are trying to sell, Sheffield Wednesday down and out. Like I saw that one of their journalists yesterday tweet actually the local media saying, and with that, Sheffield Wednesday won't make the playoffs. So just having fun with it. But yeah, obviously everyone was like, they're going to finish bottom. And then there's 2 other spots. But now, like, I'm thinking there's actually a lot of teams that could get dragged into that. Obviously, we're in January. As we learned last year, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and May. But yeah, I think it is always a case of, and I'm sure Nathan Jones won't be sat there going, well, it's all right, because if West Brom and Leicester are going to fall apart, then we don't need to worry. Like, it's not going to do that. And it is very much a case of you want to hope that we can just concentrate on ourselves. And let's be real, like yesterday, brilliant performance. If you back that up against QPR, you're suddenly going, okay, obviously it depends on what people do around you, but you get that momentum going. Even if you don't have the most perfect second half of the season, you might be all right, to be honest with you. Like, make sure those home games, you win those home games as much as you possibly can. Do the best you can on the road, and it really doesn't take a lot. I think West Brom, as you said, are in free fall. They've obviously changed manager. That manager has, I think he's lost 3 and 4 and conceded 12 goals already, and they've already turned on the team. Yesterday, you saw that Leicester, they've lost against Oxford, which is not a good result for them. And yesterday, and I walked out, I said to people I was with, like, that is a terrible result for them. And I think it was like 24 games or something now that they've not kept a clean sheet. Like, there are teams that are in a much worse position than us. And that's where I'm like, okay, let's have it right. We're punching above our weight in this league. We are. It's a fantastic league to be in. And I want so much to stay in this league, honestly. And we are punching above our weight. But as a club, we're in a much more positive place than a lot of these people are. And I think we really need to grab onto that. And that's why I was so happy yesterday that there was just an energy of, okay, we're trying to forgive and forget about Millwall. And we're just focusing on this now. And I don't want to be happy clapper. That's not it at all, because I never have been. But I think you're looking at that score and you're going, you have something there. We can be fine. When we just got to stick together and do it. And I think that very much was the energy of yesterday. And it was so pleasing to see. Yeah. But yeah, obviously tough times for them, but it's our game.
Yeah, exactly. Never mind for them. It's interesting. You talk about being fine. So, and I feel like Dudley might have just read my mind here. So, as soon as you said, we'd be fine. You only have to do a certain amount to stay up. Let's get it right. Like, we don't need to go on top 6 form between now and the end of the season to stay up. And then I was thinking, we've got 3 home games coming up now. If we won all 3 of them, we'd go up to 44 points and we'd practically be safe already. And Dudley says if we get 9 points from our 3 home games, people will be excited about going on a late playoff run. We've won 1 game, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, right, 3 more, and then we're done. So 44 probably won't be enough this season. But I honestly think if we win 4 games between now and the end of the season, so add another 12 points on to where we are now, that would put you on 47. That won't be far off what you need, because I'd suspect we'd sprinkle a few draws in as well. So we're not far away from where we need to be. We still need to do it. I mean, if we could take 6 points from the 3 home games, that would be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. 6 points from the next 3 games would put us in a really strong position to stay up for the rest of the season now, and that's what we got to think about. Right, let's hear from the man who scored the opening goal yesterday before it was cruelly chalked off by a referee. Great to catch up with Harry Clarke after the game down at Leicester. Really big 3 points for the Addicts today. How did you see today's game?
Yeah, no, it was good. We wanted to put it right after last week. It wasn't a great away day. And we knew it was going to be a tough place to come, but a great day.
Yeah, I guess the reaction to last week was one of the biggest parts of today as well, and obviously that was the perfect reaction. Yeah, pre-match, that was all we were saying, really. Right before the game, we said a clean sheet wins it, and we got to put it right after last week. We knew it was going to be a tough game. It's never easy coming here, and their front three is up there with the best in the league, so to keep them quiet was good day. Yeah, and obviously the early red card helped Charlton, and it's because Miles Leeburn worked hard and won the foul on the halfway line. Yeah, the front boys were top today. Exactly what we needed. We had a game plan, and obviously the game plan went to get another red card, but it makes it easier, and we're just happy we got the win. Talk about what turned out to be the opening goal in a few minutes' time, but what should have been the opening goal. Talk us through what you think happened there. Oh, don't get me started. To be fair, I said to the ref that it was his own man that blocked the keeper, and he didn't believe me, but we've watched it back and it was. Hopefully I get another chance. Not really much more I can say, to be honest. If you can't get a goal, at least you get the assist. It was a great finish from Sonny Carey, but obviously the cross made it for him. Yeah, I had a one early on to Miles that their centre half got a little nick on, and that was our game plan: get the ball wide, test them. We know they struggled from crosses and long balls, so we stuck it on them and we got the goals. The quality of the second goal was so good as well. The cross from Chambers. It's nice to see the 2 new boys coming into the side and providing quality like that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what Dykes is in the team for. He's for us wide fullbacks, we know exactly if we put it in an area, Dykes is going to be there. And Chambers has been brilliant. Young lad coming in, and amazing ball. And to ride it a bit at the start of the second half, you'd expect a side like Leicester to come out, but you got through that bit. Nathan made some tactical changes and saw it out relatively comfortably in the end. Yeah, they had a spell in the first half as well, 5-10 minutes, and then obviously early second half, we knew they were going to come out raring, and I said to the boys, they're obviously going to have a spell. They're a good team regardless of 10 men. But yeah, obviously the gaffer made changes, and we saw it out. In the context of the season as well, it is a big result. Obviously, the last few weeks haven't gone the way that Charlton would have hoped. No, it hasn't, and we wanted to get back to winning ways, and hopefully we can push on from here. For yourself, how are you feeling? Obviously had some time out over the last couple of years. How are you feeling now after the first few games? Yeah, good. Nice to be back playing 90 minutes and starting games. I've had my injuries, but I've been fit all this year, training hard. But it's good to be back out playing. Have you found it coming into the group as well? Yeah, brilliant. It's a great group. Managers top, and all the staff are amazing. So hopefully we can start putting that on the pitch and getting some more wins. It's been interesting to see what the feeling in the place has been this week after last week. I guess there had to be some honest conversations to sort of get back to where you want to be, because that wasn't a Charlton performance last week, but this week you've sort of put it right. Yeah, 100%. I think we were very honest this week. We went back. We sort of come away. Pardon me. Come away in the last couple of games from what we're good at, and this week we went back to basics, back to winning our duels, that sort of stuff, outrunning people, and ultimately it worked. And just finally a word for the away fans today. They were certainly enjoying it. Yeah, they were enjoying it. It was nice. They were singing my name at the end, which was quite nice. But yeah, no, they were brilliant. I said, my legs were dead the last 10 minutes, and them chanting, that feeling of getting their 3 points for them got me through it. There you go. Good to hear from Harry Clarke after yesterday's win. Seems like a nice fella. Does Harry Clarke, Tom? What have you made of him since he's come in? You know, I think, like I say, the crossing yesterday was very impressive, but he's certainly added a fair bit to us. It feels like in these early days still.
Yeah, and as I said a little bit earlier, really the main thing is about that balance. I think that's what we were looking for. I think when we got him in, family that are Ipswich fans were saying he wasn't Premier League quality, basically, was their criticism of him. We don't need Premier League quality at the moment. We need someone who can come in and do a job at this level. So, yeah, I think he probably does bring added quality to our side. He gives that balance, as I say. And, you know, when we've had Apter there or TC on the other side, obviously as fans, you just look at their attacking output and that's what you want to see from them. He's got that, obviously not quite to the same level of a TC, but he's also got the defensive solidity as well. So he gives much better cover to Ramsey, who I thought had a better game again yesterday. He made a couple of brilliant tackles and blocks. So yeah, and Ben was saying it on Thursday about needing balance. It's something I've spoken about for ages, about consistency of the back line. It just feels, when you saw them line up, you know, obviously Bell was a big part of that as well, but just having Clarke and Chambers either side, they just look like a balanced, sensible back five. And when he's got that attacking threat as well, then that's even better. As we've all said, it should have been a goal. Ridiculous that he doesn't get that, but there we go. So yeah, hopefully he can stay fit. Hopefully he can kick on, and we'll see where we are with him in the summer. But look, Bree came in and started very well on that side, and then sort of dropped off. If Clarke performs like he did yesterday, I would say he looks a better player than Bree. Bree didn't blow me away. And as I say, I'm perhaps clouded by the fact that the back end of his time with us was really poor. But yeah, so Clarke just needs to keep this up now, and if he does, then that's a very shrewd piece of business from the club.
Yeah, it's a few people have been telling me to get my head out of the clouds after I said if we just win our next 3 home games. But yeah, that's fair. But it does highlight, like Tash was saying earlier, and like I was saying, like we don't have to do too much to stay up. We just have to make sure that we plod along and pick up wins here and there. And James making a point that the 6 points gained against teams with 9 and 10 men have changed the course of the season. They have, but as I said earlier, the win against Sheffield United with 9 men was a gift. That was a present from Sheffield United to us. It's very kind of them. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll never pay them back. Whereas yesterday we earned the win because we earned the red card. Miles was the player who made them make the challenge, and we scored 2 good goals, and you know, we did what we had to do after a difficult spell in the second half. So yeah, it has changed us, and I literally, I mean, if between now and the end of the season every team we play has a man sent off, I'll be the happiest man on earth, and I will happily accept that. Right, into the last couple of days of the transfer window closes tomorrow, actually. Yeah, so last 24. Well, I'm not going to do the maths, but I think it closes at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Paul, what are you hoping for? What do we need? How are you expecting ins? Are you expecting outs?
Yeah, I'm expecting a bit of both. Still, I think we might get the Kenyan centre back, Sechenje, is it? Come in if all the rumours are to be believed. I actually think that we probably need to strengthen our left centre back side, just knowing how inconsistent in terms of fitness Bell can be to the end of the season, because I do think that is an area that we suffer in if we don't have suitable enough backup. And I'd like to see another central midfielder box to box with a decent enough caliber. We may see Anderson go out on loan for the rest of the season. I would imagine he wasn't in the matchday squad at all yesterday. As much as it pains me to say this, because he was such a hero last season, you never know. I mean, Nathan can be, I think, just brutally honest with himself and in terms of what he wants to do. And if we do get a stronger left centre back in permanently, we might see Gillespie go out permanently. I think there's going to be a few, as I say, transfers in and out. Yeah, and so waiting with bated breath for that window to slam shut at 7 p.m. tomorrow night to see what's happened. That's
a crazy busy day. We've got to deal with that in like 24 hours, Paul. You no wonder he has to sleep at the training ground, does he? I was just checking some of the tweets, actually. Anthony sent some really good tweets in. Speaking about Doc, who I did think had a good game yesterday. I was pleased to see him back in the side. Said he was happy with Luke Chambers yesterday, and the cross was excellent. But one thing we haven't actually mentioned was how good Matty Godden was when he came on yesterday. Like, it feels like it's the first longer spell he's had coming off as a sub, or maybe. But I just thought he looked so lively yesterday in the spells where he linked up play a couple of times. Obviously scored the greatest goal I've never seen that got ruled out for offside. So great to see Matty Godden back yesterday as well. And Tom's just pointing out that Doc had the most tackles, most defensive contributions, and the joint most defensive duels won. Presumably that's in the game yesterday as well. So yeah, really, really pleased with Doc. Tash, just finally then, so I asked Paul the question about transfers. Is there anyone you're really worried about losing, or is there anything like that? Can you see any last minute bids coming in for any of our players? That's not really been a massive discussion point this January, has it?
No, you're right, actually. I mean, I think perhaps if we hadn't have been in such a bad patch of form, that would have been more of a question. Like, obviously in the past tense, not anymore. But yeah, when we were going through that, potentially after Lee Burn scored against Chelsea, obviously that's just the inevitable loads of eyes on him sort of thing. And we could, blah, blah, blah. But no, actually is my answer. I think, to be honest, as a club now, unless we saw it with Mbic, and that's something to watch tomorrow, I suppose. But I think with that situation, the club have obviously gone, well, no, you can offer us that, but that's not enough for us to warrant letting him go. I mean, he hasn't played for us yet enough, first of all, so we haven't seen that enough. We've not benefited enough from him. He's still learning his trade out in League Two. He's really enjoying himself. He's still really young. If Brighton turned around and said, here's 20 million, I wouldn't complain about that. But I think at the moment we're in a very strong position with Mbic in that you go, I think you keep him, and then whatever happens, I think, he hopefully he'll have a place in the team next year if he's ready for that. Or a move to the league above or whatever. But I think he's a long-term prospect for us. And I think we're not in the Roland era anymore where we sell players for peanuts or for nothing, if you want to do that again. We are in a much stronger position, and Nathan Jones will not want players to go out. And actually, as someone's just pointed out, I think Mbic is injured, so maybe that won't happen. We don't need to worry. But yeah, I think that's just an example of, where we are as a club now, where we don't feel like we need to just, the first person that comes with a bit of money, we run and jump it. It's a much more thought out process, which is really nice to see. But yeah, to answer your question, no, I hope I'm not wrong tomorrow. This comes to bite me, but no, I feel pretty relaxed about it, to be honest. I think we're in a good position. I think it's played well into our hands.
I could just see it tomorrow. £20 million bid from Leicester City for Connor Cody, and then we've got a decision to make, haven't we? Right, we will leave it there. We've gone well over time, actually. Sorry, but yeah, no, I enjoyed today's show. It's nice to look back at a really positive day yesterday. Excellent win up at Leicester City. Massive thanks for everyone who joined us with all the comments and the tweets and whatnot. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. Massive thanks to Tom, Paul and Tash. As always, it's a pleasure.
Cheers all.
Cheers. Likewise. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
Lovely stuff. I'm Louis Mendes. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We're going to be back on Wednesday night for the big match preview, because obviously we're playing QPR on the Friday, so we're going to bring the show forward a day. Next weekend show, I haven't run this past anyone else, by the way, but next weekend show I want to do on the Saturday morning, but I think it's going to be at 9 a.m. rather than 10 a.m. because I've got to get off to another game on the Saturday. So if you're going to join us next week, it'll be Wednesday and Saturday, because obviously the game shifted forward a day. We'll give you all the details on social media. Right, I'm Louis Mendes. This has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We'll see you when we'll see you.